I said it's no point in arguing with people who aren't trying to be supportive anyway. They don't understand that the government doesn't support them either. So it's just ignorance all the way around. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna argue with somebody who's trying to justify fucked up actions and trying to justify wrongful deaths because somebody has a past or their color has a history or whatever. It doesn't matter. Arguing with people who aren't in positions of power is no use anymore. It doesn't matter.
Low key, if you're not white, we all black.
Yeah, trying to prove a point to who? That's real chop. Trying to prove a point to who? You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna waste breath trying to argue with a racist person who, whether they are racist or not, is gonna be able to change what's going on. You know what I'm saying? People who are not in positions of power is not who we're supposed to try to change their mind. I know it's about a community thing and a world thing, but let's keep it real. The people who are opposed, they're gonna be opposed. You know what I'm saying?
That's a
So
fact.
there's no point in trying to like change their mind because it's not gonna happen. People's minds are only changed till they're affected personally. And until some white folks understand that white people in positions of power don't give a fuck about them either, then things ain't going to change like that. You know what I'm saying? So as I'm saying, like, as for us of people of color and, ethnic background, quote unquote, in this country, it's no point in us arguing with other folks. You know what I'm saying?
I guess we should just shut up and pod.
Just get with it or get lost type of thing.
Oh my God.
Wow.
All right, on that note, what's going on, piglets? It's your boy Taylor B, and I'm joined by my outspoken co-hosts Daniel, DJ, and Joy. Welcome to another installment of Culture by the Uncultured. And before we go any further, be sure to click that follow or subscribe button. And remember, Culture by the Uncultured is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Culture by the Uncultured. All right, guys, I ask you this every week. Hopefully we get a little bit of difference. I'm going to ask you guys individually one at a time. So wait your turn. You'll get your cornbread, all right? All right, DJ, how you feeling?
Well, I really don't eat cornbread that much. I'm more of like a quesadilla type of person. Anyway, I'm good. I've been just going to work, doing what I do. They started calling us back into work a little bit more, so unfortunately I haven't been as active in gaming or in any other sort of thing as I normally am, getting a little bit more rest. But in the long scheme of things, I will be leaving Washington a little bit, so I'm just getting prepared to pack up and start moving my new life over in Connecticut. So you know how that goes. I'm just getting ready to move.
That's a fact. All right. What about you, Joey?
I've been wondering what the hell ever happened to all that talk about a second wave of a stimulus check.
That's something that I ponder like every night as well. Just throwing that out there.
I mean, not to say that any of us like truly, I don't like to use the word, but truly needed it. But it was something that was kind of coming up in talks and, in social media and in the news. And then we had it's like anytime something happens, they're like, let's sweep this under real quick. Let's sweep this under. So they forget about it. You know what I'm saying?
That hazard pay, that stimulus check. I need all that. Run me my ducats.
Right.
All right, Daniel, what about you?
I'm doing great today, actually. I had a great weekend. Your boy was preaching yesterday. It was my first time. Your boy got promoted. I got to preach on a Sunday, so it was pretty legit. So I got...
Yeah, that's right. And it only...
Pastor Daniel? What?
Monumentous.
Yeah, I was in there feeling real good. Stephen A. Smith meets TD Jakes. That's how I was feeling.
Oh my gosh.
now, how many times did you collect offerings?
Oh man.
Don't worry. Your stats will go up as you become a seasoned veteran. Don't worry about it. We're just trying to get on the board, all right?
I feel you.
Man, so I mean,
what about you, Brandon?
What about me? I mean, I'm doing all right, man. Still kind of dealing with this passion that's burning within my belly. Just trying to get through the days on a positive note, I suppose. Trying to focus on all these little different endeavors I have, as well as trying to spread some messages and maintain this energy, because a lot of the times when we go through these kinds of things, as far as the protesting and things of that nature, after a couple of weeks, it usually dies down. And in my eyes right now, this is like we're in that phase where it's starting to die down.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
seeing a
starting to
lot
see
more. I've seen a lot more
stupid.
of the OG content, like content people were posting before all this stuff happens, and it just kind of dwindles down. But I mean, at the same time, unfortunately, it kind of makes sense. People can only have so much energy dedicated to fighting and pushing for so long before they're kind of like burnt out towards it. And not just because you're not being so vocal on it or so like aggressive with it doesn't mean that it's not one of the things that you care about. Great thing about this run right now is that a lot more people have been coming out the woodwork than before in the past. And
Good.
that's ultimately what the important part is. Because if something else like this happens, and bam, we right back at it, Jack. But
Good.
more and more, we're getting more and more people involved, more and more people being vocal, young people, especially. That's the really important part. We want to get as close to the youngins as possible. So if younger people are being able to speak up and talk against their parents and tell them why they're wrong, or if younger white kids are being able to do TikToks, social media videos or whatever, where they're speaking about how black people and people of color have been mistreated in this country for years and nobody ever did nothing about it, but you want to talk about some buildings that are getting messed up, I'm all for it, and the more the merrier in my opinion. Always with stuff like this though too, you always got somebody that's got to say something dumb, like Terry Crews. That guy needs to just stay off Twitter, seriously. I don't know if you guys heard what he said. He said something along the lines of, if only black people fight against white supremacy, then that'll create black supremacy. So just some real stupid ish, and yeah, we don't talk anymore, Terry Crews. You already let some guy
I
grope
want to
you in front of your
know.
wife. I'm
Yeah,
not worried
what race was the guy that groped him in front of his people?
like,
I really want to know, because if it was anything other than a black man, I'm pretty damn sure it might have been some white folks.
I'm certain it was probably somebody white, and Terry Crews been out here cooning and buffooning for a minute now.
I think he's just mad, and he said that because people got on him and Ludacris asked for that whack ass movie John Henry or whatever it was. Right. Have you seen that? It was literally like day 2 of like the protests and the riots and stuff. And when everybody was finally tired of, throwing up the fists and letting out all that aggression, and the internet just kind of settled down late night. I saw this this meme being shared, like, did anybody watch this fuck shit? And it was a picture of Ludacris with like a piece of metal stuck to his face, and the picture of
in my black nerd group that I'm in, they talked about this, and somebody said that if Ludacris had been in more of the movie, that it might have been better, but overall it was not a good movie though. I haven't seen it. I know the story of John Henry. Somebody said that somebody compared him to, who was that? Super Steel, the literal Man of Steel. I guess he was played by Shaq back in the day too, and he has like a cape and like a big old metal hammer, and he's like made of metal too. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is
not working for me. Oh my gosh.
But anyway, enough of Terry Crews's coonery and buffoonery. Let's move on to some of these heavy hitting topics, right? I know. Well, first and foremost, somebody kind of made you kind of had like a little segue earlier, Daniel, with that. You said shut up and pod. And speaking of shutting up and podding, Drew Brees decided to say some stuff that was pretty ignorant, actually, a little more less than a week ago. He was on some show or whatever getting interviewed, and they asked him about the his thoughts on like kneeling of the American flag, or in front of the American flag or whatever. And he said something along the lines of he'll never be okay with disrespecting the American flag because he thinks of his like grandparents or whatever who fought for this country and stuff. And a lot of people had something to say about it.
Exactly. And you know what? Just to make it plain and simple, in regards to anybody who tries to use any kind of experience with people tied to military or police or anything, anybody who feels some kind of way about the flag or patriotism, quote unquote, and people kneeling and doing peaceful protests, if you feel some kind of way, just understand
that the military and the police force ain't full of just white folks. Just keep that in mind. There is black folks, there is Mexicans, there is Asians, there is people of all different colors in all of these branches of the military. If there was only one in each one, it would still be worth it. And that's that. It's that simple. You know what I'm saying? People in the same situation is hurt in the same way. So for you to say that it's disrespectful to not stand for the flag, I'm sorry, but what does the flag stand for? You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not going to stand for something that don't stand for us the same way. It's that simple. Drew Brees wasn't exactly being ignorant in his feeling, but he wasn't being thoughtful, and he was being insensitive because he literally didn't put himself in anybody else's position before he made that statement. It's that simple. He himself is not a prejudice minded person. He's not a racist. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not that person that his statement would make you think he is, because obviously he's in the NFL, which is like a high percentage of black folks, teammates super black. You know what I'm saying? Always been a nice guy, just keeping it real. But when you say something like that, it makes everybody feel like, did you forget all the people that you're surrounded by? You know what I'm saying? Like, in that moment, did you forget that? So it was stupid and it was insensitive. I don't know if it came from a racist place. I really doubt that. I just think he didn't really think it through. And I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but I'm still glad that his teammates acknowledged, like, hey, we know you're not racist, but we got to get in your ass about this anyway.
Yeah.
Because what you said was stupid.
And it kind of was like like you said, it probably wasn't out of a place where it came from any sort of hate or anger or
Right.
It's kind of just sort of that some people, whenever it happens, they just go through and they talk about whatever's on their mind at that time, and it probably wasn't any place
Right.
from racism or anything like that. I think it was just straight from like, because the same thing with me happened whenever we were talking about a long time ago. I think it was man, I think it was like Soldier Boy that came out with a song. Well, came out with a song that said like fuck George Bush and fuck the army troops or the U.S. troops, and that like really got to me at the time, just because it wasn't like it wasn't as an idea of like anything else. It was just the idea of disrespecting that form
Right.
of like the military or the flag or anything like that. So I could kind of like we talked about this in the little bit in this pre-pod when we were talking about how it kind of just wasn't out of a place of hate. It was just out of a place of, I can understand where it comes from for the flag's sake, for the military's sake. But like we said before, he failed to know, he failed to just see where the true
Right.
meaning of this movement was.
It almost felt like he said that out of over respect for the flag. And you know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't mean to disrespect the cause. He was just over respecting the flag, and I guess possibly just didn't do his homework on the beginning of that. And that, which is why Colin Kaepernick chose to kneel or asked about what can I do to protest this to a guy in the military. It's not like he blindly went out there, and even then, kneeling is like the most peaceful thing you can do.
Yeah, it's a sign of respect to your fallen comrades. He got it from a retired war veteran that told him that instead of sitting, because before, people don't seem to realize it, but before, Kaepernick was just sitting on the sideline.
On the bench, right.
Yeah, he was just sitting on the bench on the sideline. And
right. Because there was a difference. Him just sitting down on the bench felt like, I'm unenthused for this moment. So it's not like he's unenthused for the unity of people standing together as one. He was saying, I can't stand with you until all of my people can equally praise what, this moment together.
Yeah, and that's why he started kneeling in order to give that extra, hey, I appreciate everything that the military has done for this flag, for this country, but it's not about that.
And he straight up, it's even worse because he straight up said why he did it, and he didn't fumble up his words. He said it straight up after that game in the, to the media, and they still made it an issue. Like, people who probably just didn't listen to that interview just made it an issue, and it just got out of hand too fast, and it was unnecessary. And I'm glad. I know it's 4 years late and we've gone through a lot of more stuff, but at least people are saying Kaepernick's name, because for a while it was an issue just because it was an issue, and his name fizzled away until he got paid that settlement or whatever. And now that, go ahead.
I was going to say, that's why I say that what Drew Brees said was ignorant and insensitive, because he was ignorant to the true meaning behind the kneeling of the flag, and it was insensitive because of what was going on in the world at the time. The insensitivity of it is just like, you're basically saying no to protest, like you're slapping away the protesters and what they're kind of fighting for, and what people before them have tried to bring up, including Colin Kaepernick,
Right.
and saying like, hey, this needs to be addressed, but everybody was nobody wanted to support him, right? Except for I think like Aaron Rodgers maybe was saying stuff at the time. I think he also said something in regards to what Drew Brees saying something along the lines of, it was never about disrespecting the military troops, which is the truth. So so he was insensitive to what's going on right now, and then to what Colin Kaepernick went through and endured, and then he showed his ignorance by saying those things and revealing that, oh, you didn't know what the hell that they were kneeling for. Then okay, you willingly basically decided to let 4 years go by without ever finding out what the true meaning behind kneeling of the flag was. Because if you really thought that was the appropriate response to that, then that shows you that it just shows you how disconnected you are to your teammates, to your potential black friends, to your black teammates, to the community. I know Drew Brees isn't a racist, like he's not a bad guy. He's done a lot for his community, especially like, with everything after Hurricane Katrina.
He plays in New Orleans, for God's sake.
Yeah, he's not a bad guy, but it just kind of, it's one of those things where it's like, you have like the white friend and he decides to say the N-word finally, because like y'all are so tight, and then he just like, everybody just looks at him at the party like, you don't lost your damn mind. But it's like, he ain't saying it from a place of hate. It's because that's your boy, But
it kind of reminds you of Jackie Chan in Rush Hour 2. He goes, that's the same moment with the white guy. But I feel like a lot of these people, especially guys like Drew Brees, they're living in a bubble. Let's be honest here. They grew up living in a bubble. They stayed in the bubble. They brought their wife and their kids, and they have their own little bubble outside their home, outside of football and everything like that. So they're not knowledgeable because they don't have to be.
He's living that American dream everybody else wishes they could.
Correct. I mean, it's sad that a lot of the guys that are, twisted about why people are kneeling or why people are protesting or anything like that, it's just like, if you were to take away everything you have and just switch places, like that old movie Trading Places, you'd be able to completely see what you're missing out on and what we're missing out on.
Right. And you know what? Just this kind of popped in my head. People who take defense about anything that happens to the flag, it's not like he burned it. It's not like he flicked it off. A flag represents its people. The people don't represent the flag, if that makes sense. So if somebody says, hey, I can't stand up for this flag because what the flag is supposed to represent isn't being represented, you call me disrespectful for not wanting to uphold that flag for what it's supposed to mean. It's more disrespectful for you to say, ain't nothing wrong with this country, stop kneeling.
And I'm pretty sure everything that the NFL does with the flag every Sunday is disrespecting the flag, if I'm not. Because right. I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to use the flag for like any monetary gain and stuff like that. Like, I'm pretty sure it's disrespectful to display the flag on a football field and stuff like that. It's not supposed to be used for that.
No, that stuff is okay. You're not supposed to wear the flag. And as far as monetary gain, that's not really what they're using it for. They're using it to show as a show of respect for the country. So in that aspect, it's okay. But people who are like wearing the flag on their like shirts, like, like flag shaped shirts or colored shirts or like flag colored shorts, things like that, you're not supposed to do that. Or take a flag and make a good design out of it or anything like that.
It's crazy because we have commercials, like beer commercials and stuff, where they make bikini flags, like flag bikinis. So that's not disrespectful, but anything else would be. You know what I'm saying? So if you guys are making money off of it, it's cool. But if somebody does a peaceful protest and doesn't mention it at all, it's the end of the world.
That's how it's always been, man.
It's just childish, bro. It's just so childish.
Anything that we can do, they can steal it, and it's only okay if they do it.
Crazy.
Real quick too, kind of caveating off of the whole Drew Brees thing. Shortly after that, Drew Brees issued an apology on Instagram. a lot of people, and this is one of the things I kind of felt bad about because, like I said, I don't think Drew Brees is a bad guy. A lot of people wrote Drew Brees off after that moment. Shannon Sharp even said he should probably just retire because it ain't going to be the same in the locker room anymore. I kind of agree with that. I couldn't. That's something that like you can forgive, but you don't forget, and that definitely changes things. Whether you forgive somebody or not, you know, you don't forget what they did though. You're never going to let your guard down around them or let them kind of get that close. You know, it's kind of difficult to let yourself kind of fall back into that. After the apology though, on the other side of things, a lot of like white folks and people who are kind of like all lives matter or anti-BLM or whatever you want to call it, racist, I guess pretty much, or people who just share the same sentiments about not kneeling in front of the flag, pretty much just called him a coward and said that they used to respect him and he shouldn't have apologized and this, that, and the third. And somebody said like, I read a comment that said like, stay down on the ground where you belong or something like that. I was like, dang, because he apologized? Okay, then that's how y'all really feel? All right. But it's so crazy how you can like show so much hate or disdain in that regard, you know, and not see anything wrong with it. It just baffles me. But Laura Ingraham, who is a news anchor, I guess, whatever, some stupid bitch, whatever. She decided to say that Drew Brees has an opinion, has a right to an opinion, and all that, and whatever. Which actually came off really bad because a couple years ago she said to LeBron and KD when they were asked a political question, she said that they should just shut up and dribble, which obviously prompted people to make the connection and assume that she is racist. I would agree with that. I don't see why anybody would not think that. She also gave an apology, was really terrible. It made no connection to the two whatsoever. And it never made any connection as to, she never really even said why she's not racist in the apology. It was awful, as a matter of fact. And I mean, she's going to keep her job, whatever. I mean, there's not really much that we could do about that if we're not supporting her already.
You know, it's something I thought about right now is it doesn't matter, like, to us, like, we're all people of, ethnic background, Black and Mexican for us, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't bother me that racist people exist. It bothers me that there's racist people in positions of power. It's like, you ever play a sport and the team that you're playing, doesn't like you. They might not respect you as people, as players, or anything, but you always expect the officials to be unbiased.
Yeah.
That's the problem. The people who we let anger us are on the other team. We know they're the opposition. What we want is real referees, and that's the government. And unfortunately, the government is siding with that other team. So us going back and forth, like I said, arguing with people not in positions of power don't help, because all we're going to keep doing is frustrating ourselves. What she said, super, super, super one-sided, bro. It's, how they talk about actions over words. The problem is when you speak, that's the action. You know what I'm saying? So like, she shut up and dribble to, oh, you're entitled to your opinion. Let's keep it all the way 100. Well, what did she apologize for? Apologize for everybody getting upset at what you said, or you're not sorry for what you said? Same thing with Drew Brees. He's not apologizing for what he said or the energy behind him saying that. He's sorry that people got upset.
Yep.
That's how
that's just 100. You know what I'm saying? And then for Trump to say, Trump came after Brees, right? He was like, you shouldn't have to apologize and blah blah. Well, that's
Roger Goodell.
That's master talk. Only privileged people who know that they can't get in trouble, quote unquote, can't get in trouble, have the ability or the nerve to do wrong and not care, because ultimately they're untouchable. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you don't have to apologize to them. Don't worry, that's just the help. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to apologize. You don't have to say this. You don't have to say that. Miss me with the bullshit, bro. And what's even worse is over the last week, things have been coming out about Joe Biden. And it's like, it's starting to make me feel like if it comes down to Biden and Trump in this election, unless somebody else speaks up or makes some moves or something, we're fucked, no matter who's president.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Some like I said, I think I said it last week that somebody was saying something along the lines of, man, I can't believe we're doing all this like protesting and fighting for rights and making progress just to have to vote for Joe Biden. And I was like, damn, it's the lesser of two evils, some might consider, but either way, it's not great though.
Hey,
just because
if you don't vote for him, you're not black.
so he says, but now it's starting to make me feel a little sideways about both parties.
Yeah, definitely.
You starting to see, and you know what happened? Okay, you know that Epstein thing just came out on Netflix?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I guess all these people that have been exposed recently are starting to expose other people so that they don't go down alone. And we're hearing more and more about celebrities and people in positions of power and stuff. And I can almost guarantee this tied to Trump.
I don't know how you get multiple allegations and just don't go straight to jail. I don't get that.
Right. What the hell?
I don't understand how people can just keep saying these things about you, and you could say all these crazy things that pretty much insinuate that you've been out here raping or groping women or like sexually harassing at minimum, but you're just still chilling, like ain't nothing going on. Like he better get out of office, and they better like have the handcuffs on him right then and there. You know what I'm saying? Like
everybody else, every other color do the same thing and maybe even less or less amount of times, and is locked up right now.
They won't let them out. You're right.
It's blowing my mind, but you know what? I'm glad now that social media, they used to have all these like rules, like you can't come after people, and you still can't. They filter a lot, but a lot of people are using social media to pretty much shame and bring a lot of situations light. And I hope that shit don't slow down until they shut down the internet.
Bro, there is so much like crazy manipulation going on in social media right now. I don't remember if I talked about this last week, but did you guys hear about the K-pop fans?
Who?
They were putting pretty much hashtag Blue Lives Matter, hashtag White Lives Matter, hashtag All Lives Matter, and hashtag Whiteout Tuesday in captions, in comments for like K-pop videos. So like if you looked up like White Lives Matter or All Lives Matter or whatever, it would take you to K-pop videos.
What's K-pop videos?
Like Korean pop music or whatever, like BTS and stuff like that.
Wait, so Koreans are using that to their advantage or disadvantage? Like I'm a little lost right here.
Well, they're using it to the advantage of because I don't know if you heard about what happened with the Blackout Tuesday. There was kind of like a discrepancy with it. So people would put that black square, and basically what was happening was people were putting Black Lives Matter, but it was drowning out all the useful information for Black Lives Matter. So you would go to like search up the hashtag Black Lives Matter, like on Instagram, for example, and you would just see a bunch of black squares, but all the pictures and stuff that had information or like links to different sites or whatever, so you can donate or so you can like, get whatever information you needed to get. It was getting drowned out and you couldn't find it. So to kind of counteract that, a lot of people started saying like, don't put the hashtag Black Lives Matter, just leave it blank or put something else, put a hashtag Black Tuesday or have some other message or whatever. And also remember, this is not a day for you to not post or look on social media at all, but to only spread awareness and to make sure like you're putting out the messages for the movement or whatever, right? So what K-pop fans did specifically, not Korean specifically, but K-pop fans, right? They were taking all like the other side's hashtags, like White Lives Matter, like I said before, Blue Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, whatever, and they were just going to the comment sections of different K-pop videos from like months ago even, and they were just putting hashtag this, hashtag that, hashtag that, so that if you look up All Lives Matter or look up Blue Lives Matter or look up White Lives Matter, it will be a K-pop video, like something having to do with like like them doing whatever, singing or just like a TikTok video or whatever.
So is it trolling in a way?
Basically, so it was drowning out all their information if they are sharing information. It's like, bro, like the Black Lives Matter side done got a squad, bro. Like they got witches coming out the woodwork. We got the Amish coming out, even though they don't like pictures or nothing. They get their soul stolen off the pictures and cameras and stuff. Wow. we got celebrities coming out the woodwork. Denver Broncos whole unit came out in support and led the protests over in Denver. Michael B. Jordan did his own little speech or whatever. John Boyega might never get a job again. He out here doing the good fight. Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker calling himself his daddy. I don't know what's up with that, but he's like, yeah, fight that fight, son. People out here, we doing it. No shouts out for Batman though. A lot of people thought Batman was with us. Batman was out there for a photo op and nothing more. He didn't give a damn about Black Lives Matter. He didn't give a damn about nobody's lives. He just wanted to be out there stunning his little outfit.
Which Batman, bro?
But it's There was a video. Skateboarders was out in effect the other day. They have BLM on the skateboards, BLM sides, a gang of them rolling down the street. Excuse me. Let me not say gang. Let me say a gathering of them going down the street talking about Black Lives Matter, bro. We out here in a cause and effect, man. People out here fighting, bro. People out here fighting the good fight, and it's crazy how. You got the president up here trying to fortify his walls and hide away from America. He finally got his wall, I guess, but it's not hiding from no Mexicans. He's hiding from the Americans. And then right outside his street, we get painted Black Lives Matter. And I think the street's called Black Lives Matter Place or something like that now. So it's like the president's new address is like Black Lives, something, Black Lives Matter Place or something. It's kind of hilarious, actually. But enough of that coward. Anyway,
crazy the shit that's going on. It's crazy because like a lot of people feel like, man, these white folks been trolling minorities for 300 years, and all we can do is troll them back.
The day they did the Blackout Tuesday, did y'all ever hear about Hillary Clinton was on trial for Benghazi?
What?
Yeah, I just reading a bunch of crap right now. Like
they waited exactly for it to be Blackout Tuesday, and then she was all in court the whole day, and nobody aired it, nobody talked about it, nothing.
Wow,
that's crazy. Well, it wouldn't have, even if we were sharing stuff that day. So the only thing I've heard about really, other than that, is that like China invaded part of India, which is like super scary. And I want to say there was something else, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But that was like the biggest thing I've heard. But as far as that's concerned, it sucks because it's hard to say because I have no idea. I didn't even know she was going on trial for that. I had no idea.
Maybe as Americans, we should just mind our damn business and let China and India do their thing. just keep it 100.
Whatever. They'll settle it. They'll settle that beef.
I mean, it hasn't bothered. Like, I know we've been talking about this stuff a lot now because it's been relevant. But like, why have we been fighting wars in other countries because the government won't get along with their people, but our government won't get along with our people?
Bro, it's like what they said about slavery. Oh man, that was so and so many hundreds of years ago, bro. Get over it. But they don't want to get over 9/11 though.
Right. Their slogan for 9/11 is never forget.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Sorry. I'm sorry, bro. Like next year it's gonna be what? 10 years?
Exactly.
20 years next year? I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry.
20 years since that moment happened, and we still out there.
And then they're telling us to never forget, and that's exactly what they want us to do is never forget. But all I'm not forgetting is that America did this. That's all I'm remembering. Sorry, we can get into Daniel's conspiracy corner later, but that's my
do not awaken the beast too early.
I had a
too early. We're 30 minutes in.
I had a conspiracy thought yesterday about the whole pandemic thing, but I don't know if okay, real quick, I got some.
Yes.
What if the plan was to get a majority of the world behind masks so that the government and higher ups can release certain people into the outside without being noticed and conduct all kinds of experiments while we're going through this?
Well, that's basically what happened. They released a bunch of people from prison and jails.
Yeah, and then 3 days later said if you were protesting, we're going to put you in prison. So what was the point? You're taking people out of jail or putting them in jail? And
I want to know where they're putting all these people, because there ain't no way in hell you've been gathering up all these people and got plenty of places to put them.
Wherever they hit our Mexican cousins, wherever they lost them 1,500 kids every 2 months.
They're putting them right where they had Epstein, right where the cameras can't see them go in and out, where there's no guards or nothing.
Palm Beach? Probably West Palm Beach on an island somewhere.
That's crazy, man. One of our friends, he ended up from being in downtown San Diego all the way up in Vista. How is that even? Why is he up there?
Yeah.
Probably run out of room down here.
Nah, that's completely out the jurisdiction. There should be no Vista cops down here at all. We have San Ysidro Police Department and Chula Vista. Like, why? Hello. Why is Vista down here?
They don't know. They don't know what to do with it. Honestly, it's crazy because the government and a lot of police districts would much rather go through all this bullshit and fight the people and tear gas and rubber bullet. They would rather do all that stuff than just say, you know what, fine, equality, okay, fine. Like
Bro,
instead of just like
the
saying
videos
okay,
are
okay.
they're so wild, bro. Like I can't even like. Some of them are hard to just stomach. Like just watching like not just my people, but like literally everybody, bro. Like they don't care who you are. If you're fighting for this and they want you to get the hell out the way, get the hell out the way. And it's like, dang, bro, like y'all, bro, like they pushing over old people, letting them get their head busted
Wow,
open
did
and
you see
bleeding.
that? Oh
They
my
getting, bro,
god.
they did drive-by sprays with
Wow.
freaking like OC spray, like right,
Okay,
like
so
crazy, bro.
did you see that group of officers in, I can't remember what state, they were clearing people off the street. It was an old man, I believe he was in his 70s or something, like an old man.
I think that was Philadelphia.
In Philly, I believe. They pushed him down. Obviously, he gets injured because he's a little frail. He's an older gentleman. And then they get in trouble, and 50 something officers from that precinct or district or whatever decided to withdraw their availability for
The emergency response team.
emergency response. So you guys withdrew because we went after people who pushed down a elderly man. It's so backwards right now, fam. It is so, there's no honor in anybody's workplace right now. Like, what the hell's going on?
You're seeing the missing souls of all these people, and it's
And
crazy, bro.
But what breaks my heart the most is, I refuse to just completely believe this. I hope a lot of what's going on and all these control issues and power issues and racism, if all of this is strictly tied into finances and money, I'm just gonna cry, bro, because that shit's breaking my heart. If it's all about greed and people just trying to stay in their position and find comfort and say, oh, I'm trying to set up my family for this and that. Like, if it's really just greed and money, I'm gonna cry, bro, because that's just hurtful.
That's
You know
always
what
what
I'm
it comes
saying?
down to, man. It's always about money, and it's the same thing for like other businesses. You know, like if you get put in a position of power or a good position in general, and you have the ability to hire, you're gonna hire your people, right? I mean, I guess we're your people, you know, for sure. But like, let's just take a guy, let's take a white dude who went to, you know, some good college or whatever, right? He gets a good job, he has ability to hire some other people. He's probably gonna hire maybe his frat brothers if he went to a frat. He's gonna maybe hire some people he met in college who have the same degree as him or whatever. And 9 times out of 10, it's probably gonna be another white dude, maybe a white woman.
It's
not gonna.
just disheartening.
Yeah.
It's
So
like, where's your qualifications come in all this?
yeah, you're not looking for the best people for the job. You're looking for your friends. You're looking for that quote unquote king. You know.
Yeah, that's why if you look up the Minneapolis is the police department, their logo and then their insignia. I'm back, by the way. You can see that they're all connected with Freemasonry. Like 80% of not, well, I'm not going to say 80%, but
Welcome back to another installment of Daniel's Conspiracy Corner.
but they're a lot of these cops are so connected with these secret societies and these societies that they meet people in Yale and all that, the Skull and Bones and all. I know how many Skull and Bones have become politicians in this country. It's a lot, bro. Like most of the presidents,
or possibly even after. There's chances that there's probably been some okay people go through these process of school and workplace and experience, and then get to a level, and then either be thrown a proposition or just completely overtaken.
correct. And have you guys ever been driving and you notice the little symbol on the back of people's cars? Sometimes it has a little Freemason G. That's for if a cop pulls you over, that's already a Freemason. He already knows to give you, you know, a warning type of thing.
So you telling us we should all cop one and put it on the back of our cars? I see you.
No, they know certain things to ask you, so they'll know.
It's really, man, it breaks my heart because like what. I don't have any children yet, but what do I do when I raise my children and I'm the type of person to not lie? You know what I'm saying? I'm the type of person to probably tell my kids, like, look, you can try your hardest, but if nothing ever truly works out for you, it's because the man. Like, what am I supposed to say?
No, tell them the truth. I had a young girl at my church, and then she literally came up and asked me, how come only black people can say the N-word? And I was like, first of all, why are you even asking me that? Why? But But second of all, I was just
All
like,
them words.
but I was sitting there thinking like, who, like, if you didn't come to me, what would anybody else say? You know, who's teaching you? You know, who can you reach out to that's going to say, oh, I'm gonna tell you the truth of why black people are the ones that can say it or the ones that get away from it. Because half of black people are of the mindset we should stop saying it because it keeps reminding them of the past or
Big
we need
fact.
to be stronger than
Yeah.
remembering all that. So the only way I can really see is just to be completely honest with these kids, man. Especially when we have them, there's only people that are going to teach them is us, because it's the same. No matter where you go with these schoolings, they're called government indoctrination camps in my mind. They just tell you the same stories over and over again, no matter what generation. The textbooks never go back and say, okay, we're going to rework this issue. No, they're just going to keep telling you the same lies over and over again to make you grow up in the
Right.
same conditions over and over again.
Right. And and that makes me think, why don't we have a nationwide schooling system? Why don't we have books for, like, if I'm in 3rd grade in California and I'm in 3rd grade in Pennsylvania, what's the difference of what I'm learning? What's my capabilities? It should be the same, right? So why isn't there a nationwide schooling system where, regardless of who my teacher is and regardless of who this and that, and I know that teachers are special, I get that. I'd rather have a good person be my teacher than have just a whatever person be a teacher. You know what I'm saying? Be a good teacher. There's a difference. But how come as parents or as siblings or tutors, we can't go to, and we have the internet. Why can't we just go to the website and be like, 3rd grade curriculum? Oh, this is what you're learning. This is boom, boom, boom. That way you can look it over and you can literally review what they're teaching your kids. Anything extra on top of that or not enough, then you can it can be a concern with your teacher. You know what I'm saying? And we should be able to do that K through 12. But who knows where kids are learning what, especially stuff that has nothing to do with actual like schooling, like math, history, science, whatever. Anything apart from that is all in the hands of whoever's leading that classroom.
You know what's an interesting thing too? Being in the military, and I'm sure DJ can vouch for this as well. Learning or meeting people who come from small towns with like a graduating class of like 16, I always kind of wonder what they learned. But at the same time, I've realized that there's a good potential that they may have known more than I have known, just because there's a better chance for them to have gotten that one-on-one learning, versus like, dealing with one teacher to like 30, 40 students in a classroom,
And see, if you had a nationwide schooling system that everybody can kind of refer to, I can get online tutoring from anybody in the States if they got time.
Yeah.
Because the curriculum's the same.
Well, technically, it is the same. It's called public school.
But what I'm saying is, okay, like you have your books,
the same materials.
You have your books at school, right?
Right.
And not every school or district has the same books. But if we're so advanced with technology, why not? Like, I don't know why, like, all the advancements in our technology and our society, we've put that effort into so much shit that is probably not nearly as important, at least not right now. We're still trying to figure out how to get the fastest working cell phones. We can't get 90% of our students to graduate high school. You know what I'm like?
Yeah.
Like, am I tripping? I don't know. But it's just the issues that we got going on right now. Just that, like, we're literally still trying to fight for, I can't believe it, equality amongst anybody, any American. That's the most basic, like, stance and argument for living here, especially for being born here. Like, I know people, like, recently people have been trying to come after even the black community, said, oh, you guys want everybody's support, but y'all wasn't support. Like, I hate them people try to bait situations with other situations. But in regards to this situation with the Black Lives Matter movement and equality and police brutality, we're talking about trying to correct issues with people who are entitled to that here, or supposed to be entitled to that here, as opposed to immigrants who aren't from here. And I'm Mexican, so I feel what they talking about, But we can't even get it right for the people who are born here, who deserve to be here. And I don't know why some racist people think that the black people here are the same folks that just got here. Like, they haven't been around for hundreds and hundreds of years. You know what I'm saying? Like it's racism is childish.
And only half of
And,
those hundreds and hundreds of years were on purpose.
Did you guys know that America doesn't have an official language?
No, of course not. This is bullshit. Think about it. Half the states are Latino names. America is named after an Italian, Amerigo Vespucci, and then we say Christopher Columbus founded it, and all you did was push the natives south into Mexico. You know what I'm saying? Like what is American English? What is this?
It's so crazy how this country has like no identity. It's stolen other identities and slaughtered the people that actually had culture and were able to introduce into things.
And we claim to be the best in the world.
This country is based on a bed of lies and deceit and murder, and
it's a third world country with sprinkles on it.
And sometimes I think like, man, this is what this country gets. You know, like this is what we deserve for the bull crap that we did. You know, like not necessarily like us specifically, but just like we're paying for the forefathers, you know, misdeeds.
You reap what you sow. Yep.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is this country and its constitution and all that stuff, all those bogus rules that everybody came over with, those were men who wore makeup and wigs and high heels. If somebody like that was trying to make statements today, they'd probably stomp him out and throw him in prison. Ain't that crazy?
Not to forget the false teeth.
The false teeth, bro. Come on,
there's false
bro.
teeth today. What you mean?
Like I don't know if white people thought this through, but I would not be proud of this country's start. You know what I'm saying? Like what? Yeah, my great grandfather and his father before him started this country, and yeah, you still wear stockings? Like, bro, come on, G. Can't do it. It is so weird. It's so weird to still be talking about it. It's bothersome. Like it hits your soul because it's like an issue, but then it also hits your mental. Like, bro, why are we still talking about this?
It's draining.
You want to slap somebody for it.
For real. Slap the fire out somebody. Real quick before we get before we run out of time here, I wanted to bring up Derek Cocksucker, aka Derek Chauvin, who is the cop that murdered George Floyd, and you know his little three cronies or whatever. So Derek Chauvin's whatever the fuck it was, his charges, it was 3rd-degree murder. It got upgraded to 2nd-degree murder, and all his three little cronies also were hit with charges as well. Not 2nd-degree murder, unfortunately. I think it was like aiding and abetting or something along those lines.
It was accessory to murder.
There you go. And right now his bail, Derek Cocksucker's bail is put at like 1.2 million, I think, or something like that. It's a lot of money, obviously, and I'm sure he don't have it.
Somebody will pay it. We know this.
For what? For to be out temporarily? That's such a waste. Look, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. If I ever go to prison for something crazy and the bail is set high, let me sit in there, bro.
Well, well, so I thought that was kind of high, and then like Daniel just said, like, man, somebody could pay it out. When R. Kelly went to prison or went to jail at first, and he got put on bail, somebody paid for that. He didn't pay for that himself.
Yeah, a fan,
a random fan paid for that. And like when you see these guys, dude, like people, there's fans of these people. There's fans of that old fuddy duddy ass bitch ass dude that killed Trayvon Martin. I can't remember his name. I don't want to
Zimmerman.
Yeah, but he sold his gun and somebody bought that shit. You know, like there's foul people out here, dude, that are like, yeah, kill him. You know, like I'm all for that, and it's crazy, bro. People are out here wilding, and I don't know why. I don't know why you can have that kind of hate in your heart and your soul and your spirit, especially the ones that claim that they Christian or they believe in God or whatever.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started with those people.
You know what I would think? Like, okay, I would like to think of myself as an intelligent person, and I have the ability to manipulate situations if I would use my intelligence for that negativity. You know what I'm saying? But why don't people at the top just say, let's give everybody their fair dues, which they should, all races, all whatever. And if anybody wants to be lazy and not contribute, how about we go after them instead? Because there's plenty of hardworking black folks, brown folks, yellow folks. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's all about money, why wouldn't you just support people who want to support themselves and contribute regardless? You don't give a certain people the chance to do that. Like I said, especially trying to argue with some broke white folks, they don't understand. The government don't love you neither, pimping. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just I think we could all win if somebody up top finally has a change of heart and change their mindset. But deaf ears up top.
I want to point out something too. A video I seen that was kind of inspiring to a degree, and I also want to tie this in with DJ because I know you ain't really said much this podcast, but you might have something being in uniform and whatnot. So there was a video released of a black man in uniform. He was a specialist. I'm pretty sure it's National Guard. He had like a riot gear on, the helmet and everything, and they were chanting, "I'm black and I'm proud." The people in the crowd. And then somebody got him on camera. He was kind of looking down and he was like muttering the words, "I'm black and I'm proud." And then he comments like he's saying it, and that circulated in a lot of different places. A lot of people were showing it, I believe the guy found it or whatever, and he also reposted it and said, "I'm black before anything else," and
100.
and a lot of people think that the National Guard, if they were really told to like fire on, like kill, people, that they wouldn't do it. I don't know. I'm not gonna pretend like I know for sure. I like to think that I'd like to think the same thing though, that they wouldn't do that because that's not what they signed up for. They signed up to fight for our people,
Right.
But so that happened. So I'm wondering from your side, DJ. I know like there's certain things you can't really speak on. Obviously, you're kind of just here to chime in when you can. But as somebody who's still in service, have you ever thought about what would happen if like everything just literally went to shit right now? They fight, they storming on base. What you gonna do? What you gonna try to do? Whose side you picking?
Well, I mean, well, first of all, put me on the spot in this situation. But second of all, it's kind of an awkward situation just because of the fact that being in the military, I have thought about it a little bit. I had a little conversation with my wife. Is like that. What if this were to cause like another civil war? Like we talked a little bit about civil war, and like the main reasonings why we had a civil war in the beginning was the same sort of situation that we had back in the day. It was the Civil War was mainly fought over slaves, and now we're fighting over almost what seems like
Almost
the
the
same
same.
thing.
Yep.
So it's kind of shitty, but like it's the thing. Obviously, from what I said in the podcast before and what I said now, you guys know where my loyalties stand, and I truly do believe, and I know. I mean, there was I don't know if you guys noticed, but a protest that happened in San Diego not that long ago, where National Guard members were actually taking a kneel with the protesters during the riots, or not during the riots, but during the protesting, and the people loved it. They obviously were shouting for them, and they were cheering and chanting them on. Um, it puts us all in an awkward situation because, yes, and I mean, I joke about it all the time as a piece of government property, being that person, that thing that is designed for the government. I don't think there's anything that would make me want to fight against my fellow man, especially knowing that like I grew up in the area I grew up. I grew up in California, which is a huge, like super densely populated with a bunch of different races, a bunch of different ethnicities, a bunch of different people in general. I mean, like it's kind of like that idea of the 3%. Because you know how there's that 3% that 3% of Americans that can protect themselves and protect their family, protect against government tyranny. I think that's kind of where this falls into play.
Also, that was kind of a loaded question because Brandon said if somebody came on base, well, I would feel that obviously if somebody were to come on base, DJ's loyal to his duty. That's his base. You know what I'm saying? So obviously it's rounds for the folks wilding on base.
And also, I think it's not only because I mean I've said it before. I've had someone. I've had someone or something attempt to break into my home before on base, and I was ready to gun them down if they were to
Yep.
have put my family in danger. So I think first and foremost, number one thing for me has always been my family. My family's the only reason why I'm in the Navy in the first place. So I mean, if it wasn't for them, I think that for me the best thing would be whatever would be best for my family. And I'm pretty sure that I have a lot of, I have a lot of friends and a lot of people in the military community that are for this movement, that are trying to do what they can without putting the military's name out there. They're trying to represent as much as they can without putting any sort of representation on who or what they actually truly like work for, but what they truly stand for.
And it's not fair. It's not fair to some of you guys too because people they can't just assume that, oh, you're in uniform, you're with them. And it's not fair because
Yeah.
there's energy that goes behind signing up. You know what I'm saying? There's reasons why you might be in military for the right reasons.
Yeah, there's
You know what I'm saying?
motivation.
For
There's
all the right
motivations
reasons.
behind what everyone is doing. And honestly, I think that if it came down to it, I could not participate. I personally could not participate in anything that would force me to um attack my fellow man that is like as Americans, as
Right.
people in general. Like, don't get me wrong, if there is any sort of terrorism or any sort of thing like that that goes awry in America, of course I'm going to stand up against it. I'm going to defend the country against it. But this isn't defending the country against terrorism. We're
Mhm.
we're actively fighting ourselves. And it's sad because we're putting each other at risk by fighting each other over basic human rights and basic human necessities. It's basically like, even though we've advanced so far since the 40s, the 50s, it feels like we haven't taken as far of a step as we should have.
Mm. Yeah, and that's and not to, like lessen the importance of the movement that's going on right now, but in every home it should be family first, then your people, then everyone as a whole. And I think that the issue that we have right now in society is um it's the white people are taking care of their homes, we get that. Then they're taking care of their people, we get that. But the next step is everyone as a whole, and we have problems with people who don't see it that way. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have a problem with my Mexican friends or my black friends being concerned about their family first, and then their people, and then everyone as a whole. But everyone as a whole seems to be one-sided. So that's the issue. So I don't got no problems with you saying you're going to make the right decision based off your family first. And anything after that is completely variable or situational, you know?
And when he says white people, he doesn't mean all white people. He just means
Yeah.
the certain
Yeah, I'm
white
sorry. I
people.
don't mean to generalize everything. It's just it's an overwhelming amount, and the situation we got right now is the I guess it's a little ignorant, so sorry on my part, but that's the best way I know how to push it through, you know? And I don't mean no harm by it. Obviously, last show we gave thanks to everybody doing what they supposed to do. But I don't know what else to call those I'm more comfortable saying the word white than Caucasian. I don't know. I don't know for the lack of a like proper term, I guess.
Just say the enemy.
I'm looking for the story, but I was trying to tell Daniel about Mark Wahlberg. Okay. So somebody went and found some kind of criminal history on Mark Wahlberg and found out that he has been found guilty of some hate crimes towards some black people.
Not just one,
multiple offenses. And early in his, I don't want to call it career, but earlier in life, I guess in like the 90s, when he was doing his Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch and singing and stuff, you know how his song was kind of hip hopish, rapish sounding?
Yeah.
And most people would say, that's kind of like a black genre. Well, it turns out he was against the movement the entire time. I don't know, what he's up to now, or if he cares about any kind of movements like that, but they went and found receipts and pretty much said, you was over here trying to steal our culture with music and being found guilty of hate crimes and racist hate crimes at that.
He said him and some people chased down some black kids talking about kill the N-word with the hard R.
Back when Mark Wahlberg was Marky Bark, this is how we used to make the party start. Nah, man, I can't even do that verse no more, if that's true.
Literally, if you go to Google and you look up Mark Wahlberg hate crimes, there are...
They said he beat a Vietnamese man unconscious.
What?
Yeah. I think he served like 9 months in total or something like that in prison.
For beating somebody to death?
Or like, I don't think he did any other time than that. Like, that's all he had to do for everything that he has done, so allegedly.
Google it, Daniel. Just look up Mark Wahlberg hate crimes, and it's going to be like the first 10 links right there.
It's super crazy. It's super
extensive.
Crazy. I was telling Joe, I was like, man, this is... he must have had a different idea when he found out he was doing Planet of the Apes.
Oh, man.
To add insult to injury though was literally the fact that he made music
Yes.
that exemplified the black sound. Bro,
Yeah.
how are you gonna
He was
It's
trying to
upsetting.
steal. He was
It's
trying to steal
upsetting.
that energy. That's all it was. Oh yeah, I'm seeing that right now. That's a list. Sheesh.
Sorry, I know we missed that the first time around on the pod, but our energy's been all over the place, man. We need a it's so good. This is just it's wild, ain't it? Everybody's being exposed in this. If y'all got something that you did, let me know now before they try to say it in 20 years. Okay. let us know right now. But yeah, Mark Wahlberg under the thing. Oprah talking about she was gonna do something and everybody's pretty much canceling her. Black Twitter went in on her yesterday. They talking about, oh, what's up with Biden and all of Trump's homies, and why was Hillary deleting all those things? And supposedly somebody in the UK, the Queen's son, Prince who?
Not Prince Harry or Prince Charles.
One of them princes was in trouble. Supposedly he's a pedophile, and like it's coming out left and right. Like all these people are, and then like no, the good one is the one that married the black girl, Markle.
That's Harry.
They pretty much like separated themselves from the royal family for multiple reasons, and I'm pretty sure that's one of them. It's straight up because she's black.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let's keep it all the way 100. It's because she's black. You know what I'm saying? But good for him. She's bad. You know what I'm saying?
No, I heard the opposite side of that. Actually, I heard that she was the one that wanted to leave, and he didn't actually want to leave the family, but she wanted to live in LA and pursue her career eventually, because she couldn't do that in London because nobody really cared who she was.
Probably because she's black. Like, I know we seeing it from two different ways, but my guess is she knew that from jump, so she just made it about her career. But if the man left, that's love, baby.
No, he's actually regretted. I've actually read plenty of reports of him. Like, man, I miss being with my because he took away all his military status and everything. He's like, man, I miss my military guys. He gave up his rifles because he's for animals, just animal lover and all that. So he had to give up.
Oh, he out here simping.
Yeah, he's simping for real.
Damn.
I mean, what did you?
Nah. Nah. I'm the prince. I should have to simp to nobody.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
We gonna talk about it. Let's talk about it.
I mean, Meghan Markle's fine, so I don't see no problems with it.
Uh-oh.
What? Did I say something weird? I don't know. But yeah, Mark Wahlberg's canceled. Who else canceled? Step on up. Did you guys see Seth? What's his name?
Rogen.
Yeah, Seth Rogen was going in on his own fans on social media.
He's like telling them fuck off.
He was like, Black Lives Matter. If it's anything else, you can fuck off and blah blah. So all his white fans were trying to trash him. And he was just like, suck my dick, fuck you. Your mom's a hoe. Like, he was just trashing people, and everybody was just like, bro, this is what we want to hear, bro. It's all we want to hear.
I guess last thing before we get out of here, I just want to bring up Breonna Taylor's birthday passed. I believe she would have been 27 years old. Happy birthday to her. If you weren't aware, Breonna Taylor was gunned down in her own home. I believe she was shot 8 times by police who pretty much went into her apartment looking for somebody who was actually already in jail. It was also the wrong apartment. Her significant other at the time fired back, and they actually tried to arrest him. And they did arrest him, basically charged him for attempted murder of like a police officer or whatever, even though all he was doing was defending himself because a bunch of goons ran into his apartment, started shooting everybody, and killed his girlfriend.
And didn't announce that they were cops.
Yeah. And I believe all the charges against him were dropped, thank God. But the charges against the cops, there should be charges against the cops who killed Breonna Taylor, though. Absolutely. There's no questions about it whatsoever. And I guess that'll pretty much wrap everything up, unless you guys have anything else at all.
I do have the sports are starting back up again. So anybody out there consistently and faithfully listening, I know we've been covering the same topics, but hey, it's equally as important from this week
to the next week. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm looking forward to getting more on some other topics as well. Not to say I'm over talking about this. It is a little draining. Don't get me wrong, and we'll
It's
continue.
heavy for sure.
We'll continue with the current events and updates with all the situation. But I'm actually happy for sports starting back up, because this is one of the reasons why I don't feel racism or any type of hatred in my heart. Sports saved my life. Sports and music saved my life. You know what I'm saying? I grew up listening to a lot of gospel music, a lot of R&B, and where I grew up, that's a lot of black folks. So that connected me right there. In sports, there's no room for racism in sports. This isn't football in the 1930s. You know what I'm saying? We are athletes of all colors, all different backgrounds. Sports is one of the greatest ways to bring people together, whether people like it or not.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that we have that, brings some more diversity back. The quarantine, the fact that all these issues we had, these racially charged issues that we've had, especially during this quarantine time that we've been experiencing, I think it really bottled up a lot of extra emotions. And I'm just ready for life to get back to a normal swing so that we can keep pressing forward with these movements and let them understand, now that we're all free to walk around outside, let's prove it, and let's all be free, with treatment. You know what I'm saying? It's important. So I'm glad sports are coming back, because it means something deeper than just games to me.
Yeah, and speaking of sports too, we never really got into it, but Roger Goodell apologizing pretty much and saying that they didn't support any of the athletes trying to do their due diligence as far as doing their peaceful protests or anything like that. He didn't even mention Kaepernick. He mentioned some other names, but didn't mention Kaepernick. But
it's embarrassing. Honestly, like, you want to accept his apology and think that it's coming from a right place, but nobody moved an inch until Drew Brees said something and felt like he needed to apologize. So in regards to Goodell, you could suck it. You know what I'm saying? We know he ain't
Too
changed.
late to apologize.
Yeah, we know anybody, right? Any of us over here, we know where people's energy really is. You know what I'm saying? You're just trying to play role and play nice because people in this quarantine and you got sports starting back up. Nah, you had the chance to support one of your players from jump.
Yeah, it's a PR stunt. He's trying to cover his ass and say that, oh, well, I apologized. I'm the good person now.
Right. And especially now that we're going through all this with America, I hope the Patriots never win again. Or the Saints. The Saints can't win no more, bro. I'm sorry. They're going to have to take a 3-year penalty for that one. Drew Brees did them. Or start Jameis. I'll take either one. What you guys think? Would you start Jameis? Would you start Jameis just to get back at the NFL? I would.
Man, it would really depend on the fans. If football comes around and the fans are still not feeling Drew Brees, I'll be like, yo, you have to take a seat, man, because we roll with them and they roll with us. So
I can't look, bro. This NFL season, or whatever happens when it comes back, is going to be intense, because I guarantee, bro, somebody's going to get a sack on Drew Brees and say something crazy. So I'm low-key waiting.
but speaking of that, are you still going to draft him, or are you going to roll? Or are you still going to rock with us?
Oh, man. For anybody that don't know, it's an inside joke. Fantasy football, the last 10 seasons, except for this last season, I've drafted Drew Brees as my quarterback and have pretty much guaranteed myself a spot into the second round of the playoffs. I'm here to say now, it was a great football decision, but I'm embarrassed. I'm so sorry. And that's probably why I only won 2 out of those 10 seasons. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Nope, never again. I'll draft Jameis.
All right, well, with that, gentlemen, I guess we will wrap things up. All right, Piglets, this has been another installment of Culture by the Uncultured. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Culture by the Uncultured. Remember, Piglets, Culture by the Uncultured is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. We hope everyone is out there staying safe, and if you can't be safe, be deadly. We'll catch you guys next time. Fuck with your favorite co-host.